Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. And let's meet an indie agency. Today we head to New York. To New York, and where do I even begin? Oh man, how long have I known you? 20 years?
Something like that.
Walrus.
18.
See, the chief creative officer has to be contrarian and says, oh, it's 18. It's 18. Deacon and Frances Webster, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get to one of the things that revs my engine about your agency a little bit later, or within the flow of this conversation. I don't want to give too much away, but I want to start with when the agency was founded and how the founder story looks for you.
Founder story. So Deacon and I founded Walrus in 2005, as we said, 18 years ago. We spun off of an amazing agency, Mad Dogs and Englishmen, when they were winding down. So we went to the founders, Nick Cohen and Robin Havitz, and said, can we take the remaining book of business? And they said, go for it. So that was a really actually great way to start. Then we had to go to our existing clients and say, good news, bad news. Your current agency is going out of business, but we're starting a new agency called Walrus. So that's how we started. And we started with Graham Marnier, which is part of Moët Hennessy, 21 Club, CWX. And we brought 8 employees with us.
Okay.
Start. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you land on the name Walrus?
How do we land on? Can you answer that?
We wanted an animal. Mad Dogs had been.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. We definitely didn't want to name it Webster, but walruses do begin with a W. We kind of felt like they're similar to our work. They stand out. They don't mess around, but they're also kind of fun to look at. So that's how we got.
And there are companies out there that pay billions of dollars for identities when it could be legitimately that simple. But all kidding aside, in 2005, so going back, that was a time before digital really started taking off, before social. So the timing may have been fortuitous because you weren't necessarily in a sea of stuff. And you had a very clear identity and a clear direction, and people were able to sit with that for a moment. I have to imagine that that timing probably helped too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, of course, 2008 was right around the corner, which was kind of which was insane.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, our first clients, they weren't doing tons of digital. It was all kind of the Wild West. I mean, people were starting agencies back then, though, that were like just search. Search was like this black art. You know what I mean? And there were like agencies that built, Facebook apps. That was like you could make a living making apps on Facebook. So it was sort of, there was also this thing in the back of our heads, like, are we doing the right thing by just kind of sticking to the typical advertising avenues rather than kind of going highly specialized into something like that? But those things start disappearing, as you see. I'm sure that there are people that are like metaverse agencies now that are like in big trouble.
Yeah, but we started with our philosophy that we have today, right? That the mission is to change the way that the world feels about advertising by putting work that is smart and funny and distinctive and respects people, puts the audience first. And that has been since day one kind of what's driven us. And so whether you're talking about a Facebook app or a Super Bowl spot or whatever it is, I think that kind of thinking about the work that way has contributed to our longevity as an agency.
Yeah, and as somebody that's running a metaverse agency, no, I'm kidding. Now, one of the things that I've always appreciated too, aside from the work, aside from your point of view and your leadership, is that you are very clear on what it is that you do very well. And every agency will say that there are a million things that we do. I'd like you to hone in on the one thing that you think your agency is best known for, whether that's a piece of work, whether that's a way of working. What would you say you're best known for?
I honestly think that we're best known for taking complex problems, and you could look at somebody, it could be anyone from Amazon to Smith and Wollensky to like magnesiums. Some people come to us with really complex things they're trying to solve, and solving them on the one side, but then making them entertaining on the other. We feel like we're sort of, it's two sides of a Venn diagram. There's all the stuff that a brand needs in order to be able to sell, but then there's the audience side of it that they need to be able to be willing to listen, which I think a lot of agencies kind of ignore. And we see that, we call it calculated misbehavior. And it's being smart about being a little bit bad. And,
right.
Bad in the world of marketing, which could just mean being honest, right. Most advertising is not. So if you can sort of solve both of those problems, it's sort of the crossing of that Venn diagram in the middle that leads to really good work.
I like that idea of being honest. Yeah.
And I would build on that, Deacon. I mean, and you can take this, but just the whole idea of sweating the small stuff and having a point of view, right? As things that we're known for, or that are our core strengths.
Right. In addition to that, what would you say? So you've got that one core strength. What are a couple of other core strengths?
Well, Frances brings up the small stuff. I mean, we are small, right? Mm-hmm. And we put our best people on everything. I think if you go to like bigger agencies, you kind of get your best teams are working on the top of the funnel, big TV spots, that kind of thing. But then it sort of trickles down to the interns who are writing like, social copy. And we need our work to work. And we firmly believe that those things that are sort of further down need the same type of care. If you're things like search, search is generally really boring, but if you write a good search ad, it actually does something.
Right.
Or a shelf talker, right? It's like we put the same team on a Thursday night football spot as we do on a shelf talker in a grocery store. Because one, it should all work together, and let's entertain someone when they're like buying their chicken or their bottle of wine.
Okay. So what is now I'm curious. Shelf talker plus chicken plus wine. Who's that for?
We have a grocery store that's we've had them for 5 years. It's a chain down in North and South Carolina called Lowe's Foods.
Oh yeah,
and we do. They're great, and they have tons of stuff in store. And so we run various different programs. One of them is, Chicken Fest, we call it. And it's kind of like, it's a festival of poultry.
A festival of poultry. Oh my God.
And so when Chicken Fest is going on, we go throughout the store and put signs on everything, and then it's all chicken related. So if it's chicken broth, it'll say liquid chicken, thumbs up.
Or the line, eggs. This would go well. This would go well with a moist, and moist is marked out, not dry piece of chicken.
Right. Yeah.
Because we know that word can be very problematic.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
We don't want to use
that word. It's a trigger
word.
Moist.
It's terrible. All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Okay. That's funny. Yeah. That's very, very
But it's
funny.
Also hardworking, right? Because we're actually moving people around the grocery store, and that's
workhorse. Yep. Yeah, we talked to Curiosity about that and their client Dude Wipes about, it's one thing to do that, but you got to figure out how it becomes a workhorse, or in this case, a work chicken, work poultry. Yeah. Let's talk about being independent, because you've been indie from the jump. Why is being independent important? And I usually say to the team, but in this case, because you're a little bit smaller, I want to shift it to your clients. Why is being an independent agency important for your clients, specifically from your side of it, but also some of the feedback that you're getting from your clients?
Yeah. Independence is one of our biggest strengths, right? And for clients, the benefit to them is that they're getting some of the industry's top talent working directly on their business, right? That is the key benefit to them. And I was listening to that interview you did with Judy Pollack and Brian Bonilla, and they made a good point. It's like, when a client hires an independent agency, there's an ability for that agency to be more nimble, to think differently about things. Their entire business model isn't tied to just making TV. So as Judy said, it is the place to be. From our perspective, we've remained fiercely independent because one, it just lets us decide who we're going to work with, right? Mm-hmm. The people we're going to hire, the investments we're going to make, the work we want to make, and also the impact we want to have on the industry. So I'm not going to act like there aren't stresses involved with being independent.
Sure. No, 100%. Yeah.
There are. But at the end of the day, when we win a piece of business like we did last week, we look around the room in the agency and we're like, we freaking did that, you know? Mm-hmm. We beat that much larger agency, and it's pretty gratifying.
I love that.
I mean, one thing I would add to that, I think for clients is we purposefully try and have as quick a line between the person who's made an idea and the client. And I think, it's like, there are no statues for committees. I think that agencies themselves, the bigger they get, often sort of start feeling like committees, because you've got your creative director and you've got your ACD, your ECD, your CCO, your sort of group creative director, all those people commenting on work and sort of sawing the corners off of it until it's really smooth. And I think it makes work much duller,
Yeah. Well, there's nothing quite like starting an email chain with 4 people, and then a day later it ends up to being 38, 42.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I say that from personal experience.
Nice. Yeah, that's fun. You love that.
Yeah. But I mean, we've worked with a bunch of Fortune 500 and the Fortune 1 companies. I mean, there's clients in those organizations like Amazon and Walmart and Colgate who are like, see the benefits of working with, a crack top talent team who they have direct access to and are going to get the best work out of. So
you've touched on the question of, why a brand should work with you, but I want to expand this out. What have you learned from the brands that you work with? Because that's also a thing too, where they may work with maybe a holding company agency, maybe a bigger agency or whatever. What have you learned from the brands that you work with that have informed the way that you think, maybe help improve your team and the way that you look at things?
I mean, one thing we've learned, we've basically gotten a PhD in pretty much every category, right? From, as I mentioned, from grocery to private jets, to candy, to banking, to tech. And that's the fun part of being a generalist agency, is you get to go and just learn as much as you can about a client or a brand's business. What else have we learned? I mean, marketers, this is nothing new, but marketers are under a lot of pressure, right? They have to prove their worth on a day-to-day basis, especially if they're within a company that doesn't look at marketing as an investment, look at it as a cost. So our job is really to help them shine and sell in the work and build a case for it and build a case for that budget. And that's what I try to impress upon our team too. It's like, they are not just sitting there with this budget. They have to go make a case for it. So we've grown to empathize with marketing departments in a real way, because it is a tough job. It's a fun job, but it's a tough job.
No, it is. Absolutely it is. Let's shift over to talent. Why should talent put your agency on their list? And specifically, not necessarily specifically FTE, but perhaps there are some freelancers out there, freelancer or independent talent out there that may be looking for an interesting challenge. Why should they put Walrus on their list?
Honestly, not everyone should.
That's an honest answer.
Yeah. I mean, the people that do well here are people that want to solve problems, that are, super motivated, that are self-starters, that are like, hop in and can do 5 things. We sometimes get people in who have come from big shops that can't really operate without like a staff of 20. And that doesn't cut it in the Walrus, atmosphere. So, I think, if you come here, you get to work on lots of different pieces of business.
Right.
And, we'll throw you in the deep end. It's kind of, go ahead.
That person that needed a staff of 20, was that hyperbole or was that real?
Or
no comment. No comment.
Okay.
No, but I mean, it's a friendly group of people, and that's the thing. We're definitely looking for people that are ambitious, who are competitive, who want to win, and are willing to put the work in. but who are also nice. I mean, you need to have a pretty high social EQ to do well in this industry. And I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. So, yeah, I mean, those are the people we're looking for.
Let's coin a word: frambitious, friendly and ambitious. There you go.
Nice. There's another. That's a good T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a professional broadcast segue. Before we get to the last question, okay, this is what I was mentioning earlier, and I should have worn one of the shirts, but my daughter keeps taking them. So when I started as a journalist at The Drum, and I had known you guys before when I was working for Stillwell Partners in Advertising Week. So, you know, but I hadn't gotten on the list. And when I say the list, it was 2016. And in the mail is a T-shirt from you. And that's your holiday gift.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, that's neat. So year one, oh, that's nice. Here's a nice little note. Thank you. You know, maybe something on Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, back when it was fun. 2017, another T-shirt, different design. Like, ooh, this is a thing. And so subsequent years, so I was at The Drum, and then I was at Adweek. And then when I left Adweek, and I legitimately told you this, Frances, the first thing that popped into my mind and I'm dead serious. The first thing that popped into my mind was, oh no, now that I'm leaving Adweek, I'm not going to be on the list for a T-shirt. Now, that may be a glimpse into like just my weirdness, but
you may want to reprioritize things on that front.
But honestly, like it's like it was one thing. So again, we had one that had the Clamato Walrus, which was fantastic. There was a Wilford Brimley version. So there've been all these different versions. And again, my daughter has stolen all of these T-shirts, by the way. I don't think I have any left. But it's great. Talk about how that tradition started. And I mean, you can give us a little bit of a, you know, sneak peek into this year, but yeah, tell me how that all started.
You know, I don't know how it actually became the thing that it became. We used to just sort of make stuff. The first couple of years we did like pint glasses. I have one here. It's like a swordfish with tusks because we needed glasses. And then one year we needed coffee mugs one year. And then we just did a T-shirt. I can't remember. I think it was this one. It was a 3 Walrus Moon T-shirt. So I don't know if you're familiar with 3 Wolves Moon, but it's like these 3 wolves that are howling at a moon.
Yeah.
We made a walrus version of that back when that was kind of taking off. And people like, I don't know if it was specifically you, but people like yourself were like, just loved that shirt. And we got it. It was a nice shirt. You know, it was sort of soft.
Yeah.
And we're like, maybe we should do another. And it just started becoming this thing where people were calling us and saying, can I get on the list? And, you know, can I get my wife on the list and all that sort of thing. And so we're like, all right, we're doing shirts. So now it's become a full sort of production situation where, you know, every Christmas, right around every holidays, you know, we have a table full of shirts and we're trying to guess. The worst part about it is you have to try and guess your client's size.
Oh, right. Right. Large.
I don't know if we should talk about that.
No, well, we always err on the kind of like the low side, you know, because you feel weird sending someone an XL.
Right.
So yeah, there's some of that. You got to eyeball when you first see them, you're eyeballing them like it's.
And we're getting them professionally fulfilled now, just so we're clear. We no longer are doing them in the office, but we did after during COVID, when everyone was kind of reemerging, we did have to send out like hey, so where are you living now? Like, where are you? And is it possible that you gained 15 pounds like all of us?
Right.
What, should we change your size?
Yeah.
That's always a fun conversation. But yeah, the 2023 T-shirt is being briefed in today. So
okay.
Keep an eye out.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for it.
And much like children, we don't want to play favorites. My son. No, I'm kidding. My daughter. No, I love them equally both, but differently on different days. But that's just parenting, right? Yes. Unconditionally, but like, stop messing around. Do you have a favorite? I think I know what my favorite is.
What is your favorite?
Clamato.
Nice. Mine's the Metallica one, but don't tell Metallica because we'll probably get.
So why don't you say heavy metal band?
Heavy metal
Heavy
band.
metal
Yes.
band.
Yep. Traditional
There's-
heavy metal band. Yeah.
I ran in that this morning.
We did one where it's a scene from the movie Ghost where it's a young woman making a clay pot, and behind her is a huge walrus that's caressing her shoulders. And that one, for some reason, I like just because there's people that get it and there are people that don't.
Well, that's the thing. You have to.
Yeah.
I think you just. That's what it's so funny. It's like when I'm up on stage or giving speeches or moderating a panel or something like that. They say, "Well, how do you handle it?" It's like, well, I do the thing, but then in between that, I try to think about like jokes or things that one person in the crowd would get. There's maybe like a few people in the crowd that I'm telling jokes for. And if it's that one person laughing, then that's totally fine. So I like the fact that you may get to some things that may be abstract to people. I like that. Final question. This is our thought, a little bit of a thought experiment here. Whether this is a current client or a client that you may want to work with, put it out to the universe. If the book The Secret taught us anything, it didn't. But which CMO or marketer would you like to say hi to?
Deacon, do you want to take this or do you want me to take this?
You can take it.
Okay. So Diana Frost, he's the Chief Growth Officer at Kraft Heinz.
Ooh.
We sent you an oil painting and you should hire us for the project.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Please explain.
We figured out what she looks like from numerous images. And we got an oil painter in the Ukraine to make this painting of her riding a walrus. It's kind of got that sort of like Hudson Valley School style. And we sent it to her in a gold frame and said, obviously we really look great together.
We look good together.
Let's do something. And we haven't heard back yet. It's been
a week.
It's been a couple weeks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, if you did that with me, I'd still be processing.
Yeah, we said we're either going to get a project or a restraining order. So we're going to see how it goes.
Okay. Not sure how you can top that, but any other marketers you'd like to say hi to?
Yeah, no, there's a couple more old paintings going out, but that's the one we're particularly interested in. Hi, Diana. Looking forward to hearing from you. Can I just say one more thing about independent agencies?
Yes.
Before we wrap.
Please do, because you are a female owner. You are a huge advocate for women and diverse ownership. So yes, you have the floor.
Yep. I appreciate that. This is our collective point of view, is that I think independents are some of the only agencies who are doing really good work right now. And we definitely look to them for inspiration. So I think that's a really positive thing out there. And I have been so inspired by all of the agency owners that I've met throughout the years, especially more recently, a lot of the female agency owners like Own It with Christy Hiller and Jen Freeman. I mean, they're amazing. But I mean, I'm a member of, like the 4As, for example. I'm a member of a forum. Deacon and I are a member of Walrus is, where it's independent agency CEOs. We've known each other now for like 10 years. We meet twice a year and we know everything about each other's agencies, and we all know exactly what we're dealing with. And those kind of relationships really do help you just from a operational standpoint and all that good stuff. So anyway, just want to say that, it feels very like a supportive community, for sure. Until we're pushing against one another, then, all bets are off.
Well, business is business, and I get it, but and that's the spirit of what we're trying to do with all of this too, is how do we become the clearly defined, editorially driven, service driven place where indies can have a home. I mean, and listen, again, I can't say enough good things about Small Agency and Ad Age. I think Little Black Book does great stuff. I think obviously the coverage in all the trades are great. This is not me saying otherwise. But I simply wanted us to create a clearly defined home where everybody can get together. and this community can grow, and marketers can pay attention to what we're doing.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
It's
at
great
age, you're
that you're
right.
doing
Small age, sorry, Deacon, go
I
ahead.
love it.
Yeah.
Were you gonna mansplain something, Deacon? No, go ahead, Frances. Go ahead.
No, I just think that we appreciate that you're doing this. And I mean, just talking about all the people that do support independent agencies, like At Age Small Agency, Judy Pollock, she's been doing it for years. She's amazing. But like Alyssa Siegel, who's our head of PR, I mean, her whole reason is to support independent agencies. So anyway, it's just, it's good people all around, including yourself.
It is good people. Thank you.
So thank you.
Wasn't fishing for a compliment, but thank you.
You got it.
My day is complete. Frances and Deacon, much more to come. Best wishes for continued success. Thanks so much for joining us. And I'm looking forward to seeing the t-shirt.
Likewise.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Thank you.